Welcome back. So rebuild folder is now working and that's perfect, but I'm kind of not a huge fan of actually doing a check like this to figure out if we have folder column. I want to use a more object-oriented way of defining if things are a folder column, and the one I want to use is actually the one called instance of right here. So I want to say if the column is the instance of, right, instance of. Now this means I don't have to worry about properties inside the folder column interface like we're using right here. You know, right now I have to know that a folder column contains a main function, right? I also need to know that that's not undefined ever, or else I might not get in here, if that makes sense. So instead I want to know that a column is the type or the instance of folder column. That would be more safe. Then it'll pretty much just validate that this is actually the type of folder column. So I'll use this method right here, and I can tell you right away this won't work, but I just want to try and show you guys a few cool things you can actually use here to figure out that it doesn't work, and then we'll fix it. So I'm putting in a new keyword right here. I don't think I've shown you guys this before, but I'm just putting in the debugger right here. Now it says the debugger statement is actually forbidden. That's what lint says, but let's try and put it in there anyway. So let me try and show you what will happen right now with my running program right here, because I'll actually hit this breakpoint now. Let's try and do it. So jumping into my code, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and click any folder, and then boom, I hit a JavaScript breakpoint. This is freaking amazing, you guys. Use the debugger if you don't want to do console logs all over your code, because that'll be a mess in the end. You'll have to remove all the console logs. I think the debugger is a lot more powerful, because then you can see all properties and everything that you need to know. So I think there's a huge piece of power right here in using the debugger. So what I can see now is I can actually see in my loop right here in the rebuild folders where I just wrote the simple keyword debugger. I can actually, it just breaks the code right here, and I can start jumping through the code step by step like you would in any normal editor, right? That's amazing. So let's just have a look right here. We have a column instance of folder column. So I hope that will end up in here, right? Because I'm saying the column is of the instance folder column. That means that I should go in here because that's actually the column I have right here. So let's try and see if that works. So I'll jump over, and I think I can see the column now. There we go. So you'll see it has a main right here. And it's actually a folder column. Subfolders, name, owner, files, everything's in there like it should. It's a column. Let's try and jump over here. But notice, boom, I get out of there. Something is wrong. I get an exception actually. Boom, everything explodes. So I didn't get into the area that I wanted to. Let's just try and continue right here. But notice, I'm getting an error right here. Folder column is not defined. Now the problem is that it actually doesn't understand folder columns with an instance of. So let's go and fix that. Now I'll just keep the debugger here for now, and we'll keep moving into this next lesson. But what we need to do is kind of change the folder column from being an interface into actually being a beautiful, beautiful class. So next lesson we'll talk about classes and interface and how to use them, because we've already had that talk, but now we want to start actually using a class instead of an interface, because now it just starts making sense when we want to do instance of our folders. But now you know the debugger, and the debugger is amazing. I'm telling you guys, you cannot live without the debugger when you're used to it. Let's just try for the fun of it to remove him from here and actually try and put him down here just for the fun of it as the final test right here. So again, I'm going to click a folder and then it'll add that folder. Boom! I'm actually being killed because I made the instance of. Let's just convert that back into actually being the way it was before. There we go. And then I'll just put the debugger down here. Boom! And then I'll just try and run this again. And let's just try and see if we can hit that debugger. There we go. Right away when I add the folder, I hit the debugger, and I can just go and read everything in here, right? I have so much information available. I can start stepping over here. Boop. Next one. Boop. Okay, there's a folder. Okay, I'll go in here and I'll do some rebuild folders. Boop. Okay, I'll go in here and I'll make a folder. Boop. Boop. Okay, whoa, boop, 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 boop. Everything works. So use the debugger. Use the debugger to figure out how your code runs inside your actual browser. That was it for this lesson. See you next time where we'll fix this issue. Have fun.